What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Reports. Today I'm bringing you an anime review of Gundam Thunderbolt Season 2, Episode 5. When you hear that jazz, you know the man is back. The man, Io Fleming, is back to lay waste to the field to some Zeon. And man, this was a pleasant surprise. I was not expecting to get this episode this early. Shout out to Gundam.info. It's on YouTube, so if you guys want to watch it, it's not a secret compartment or anything that you need to get to find it. You can just go to Gundam.info or you can go to YouTube. They have the episode right there for you to watch. And man, it feels good to cover Gundam as always, and it feels even better to cover Universal Century Gundam because it's not a shortage of stories out there, and the hype gets better and better each time. Even more news. It looks like Unicorn's gonna get a continuation with Twilight Axis. We found that out yesterday, and Gundam Thunderbolt is back. I was anxiously waiting for this episode because the more Gundam is always the better. And this is an OVA, so they spared no expenses. They don't have to spread the animation out between a bunch of episodes, so it looked absolutely beautiful. That jazz soundtrack is beautiful. Gundam Bebop is what I call it, and it is back. And that boy was blaring throughout this entire episode. You know, it clocks in at it's 22 minutes total, 22 and 30 seconds or something. Really only about 19 of it is episode because the last 3 minutes is just more of that jazz, just soothing, relaxing jazz going through your mind. And while that's going and it pumps up, it actually went right into the episode as well. They spared no expenses, going right back to the Federation storming a Baoku, you know, the Zeon asteroid fortress. We see a new character by the name of Bianca. She's in a suit. She's in like a mobile suit. And, you know, we got a new Zeon character in Billy as well. She starts off the episode. I mean, within the first 30 seconds, she's taking out like a crab type of Zaku. We get to see old suits again. We get to see new suits. They're all beautifully animated. It looked absolutely awesome. And they are storming this base. Not necessarily to get Io back, because you remember Io at the end of the last episode 4 or season 1 of Thunderbolt. He was taken into custody by the Zeon. They had him held up, torturing him, beating him. Of course, they disemboweled knowledge of him because he didn't give up anything because he doesn't want to give up, you know, the Federation. So while they were storming this place, they actually happened to find him. I really don't think they were looking for him. What they were actually looking for was the Psycho-Mu unit, which was made to create the Zeon 2. And if old school Gundam heads will remember, or if you've seen the old Gundam, you know that thing was first piloted by the great Shar Aznable, and now the Federation has that in their custody, which makes me wonder what they would want to do something like that, because this Psycho-Mu device was used so new types would be able to pilot a mobile suit and control it with their minds. So it's interesting where they would go with that. And it's been so long since I've dived into the overall lore of the Universal Century that if this did come up later in one of the older series, I really don't remember right now, and I apologize for that. And if it didn't, hell, that's a good thing, because I'm gonna find out exactly what the hell the Federation will want to do something with that. But that is the spoils of war, and that's one of the best things about Gundam overall, is that no side is really wrong. I mean, you could find some right with the Zeon, you could find some right with the Federation as well. And one thing that I absolutely loved about the first Thunderbolt Gundam was that POV, that point of view scene that they used to give you in the battles. Like, they would show you either in the cockpit of the person being the aggressor and wrecking shop, as we used to see Io doing what he's going through with that jazz music, or they'll show within the cockpit of the person who is getting wrecked by either him or Daryl. And we got to see that POV with Daryl this episode, as he's getting used to using those hand limbs that he has now. And he had to be saved by one of his other people out there, because he was still getting used to the movements and everything, giving up his body to get complete control of the Zaku that he's in. Man, this episode was awesome, and it was good to have it back. And now the philosophy begins, because we have to talk about Daryl, because for the most part, he was the only person that we really got any type of focus on in this episode. I mean, we touched base with Io, but Io is just basically to get him out and see what he's up to now. But Daryl has given so much of his body for this Zeon project and to make this perfect pilot in this Gundam unit. I mean, people watching IBO, technically this guy is probably the first Mikazuki, even though Universal Century and IBO are two completely different series. They don't have anything to do with each other, but this is, if you're going back, this is like, will probably be like something that maybe inspired them to do this with Mikazuki, because this character doesn't have any arms anymore. He doesn't have any legs anymore. It's also, he can pilot this Zaku to the best of his ability, but you have to wonder how much of his life and his body he's given up and his humanity, because it was a scene that really kind of touched me when he was on the beach and he was walking through the water, but his feet are metal. He can't feel the water or anything. The only thing he has is his torso and his neck, and he's still trying to find some type of happiness by breathing and taking in everything. And they're telling him, you know, come in because your limbs are going to rust. And you have to wonder about how much humanity he gave up in order to be what he is right now. And it really is sad to know that there's things that he's never going to get to experience again because he decided to become a perfect weapon. But at the same time, he's also being praised by everyone as well, because they're like, this guy is a survival of the Thunderbolt battle. And, you know, the Living Dead division, he is practically is a living dead right now. I mean, yeah, he's still alive, but he barely has any limbs, and he basically is just living to fight in this machine and to get revenge on that Gundam pilot and the Federation that he, in a way, he kind of blames for the way that he is right now, because it's like, because he couldn't defeat him, he wanted to get stronger and stronger. And I think this series coming out is the perfect time to parallel with IBO, because again, we're seeing this type of thing with Mikazuki, we're seeing that type of conflict with Julieta that she's having as well, and to see that Universal Century grime and grit again. I was telling you guys in my Gundam IBO reviews, stuff that what happens in Iron Blooded Orphans, that was normal in the Universal Century if you go back and watch those type of series. So people who are just coming into Gundam and you're just watching Thunderbolt, you get a taste of what it was like to witness Universal Century Gundam, and it is glorious. Now, we do have our two central characters back, but it could very well be a new rivalry forming that will maybe birth itself on the battlefield between Bianca, who we saw at the beginning of the episode. Again, she did take out 8 units in that little battle, and Billy, a person on the Zeon side, it seems like he got a little bit of focus as well. So with that being said, we might see a rivalry between these two pilots as well, and their characters, because Billy is real cool, calm, and collective. He likes to smoke his cigs. He seems kind of laid back. And then you got Bianca. She is very happy. She's very energetic. She has that thrill for adventure, and that's probably what's making her so good on the battlefield. I mean, it was a part in the episode where the ship is descending down towards Earth at a rapid pace, and she takes off her seatbelt and gets up and try to look out, and she's like, oh wow, this is amazing. And everybody at first was looking like, what the hell is she doing? But they saw how happy she was, and she had that smile, and it was like, okay, she's gonna be okay. Plus, she also idolizes the great pilot. She idolizes Io. So I keep saying Io, I think it's Io. She idolizes Io, and we got to see, at the very end of the episode, we got to see the suit that we're going to spend our time with in this series. That was the RX-78AL, the Atlas Gundam. You heard that jazz, so you know Io is in it. And I must say, I like this one a lot better than the suit that we got at first. The first Thunderbolt Gundam, the Atlas, it was nice. I mean, I just wasn't a fan of it having the shields all around it. And this one is back to the more traditional Gundam type of look, but it looks like now he's out there skiing. He straight up got some skis on. Now, I'm sure when he's in space, that's going to give him even better mobility, as when they were descending to Earth, the Zeon tried to get the drop on them and shoot them while they were descending. The Gundam came out, made light work of it with that beam saber, slicing through. Oh my man, it just looked beautiful. Oh man, I cannot praise this episode enough, and I cannot wait to episode 2. Now, there are some things that could be going on in the background as well, and with this having 4 episodes, I'm not sure how far it's going to stretch out unless we get another season, but it seems to be a cult of Zeon going on as well, because in the midst of the battle, while they were collecting all the parts and the dead and everything and burying and burning the bodies in a very haunting scene with chanting and all. We saw these people that had a symbol on them that was doing the chanting, and at the end of the episode we see some Zeon underwater waiting to plan for an attack. And this character in particular who's waiting to lead this attack, he had like a tattoo of those same people that was chanting. So it looks like it might be like a Zeon cult who might be out doing their own thing. So it'd be interesting to see where this story is gonna go. I mean, I can understand if it goes in a new direction, because of course the whole thing is about Io versus Daryl. But at the same time, it's Gundam. It's a war going on. Who knows what other type of factors was in play. So it was good to see that as well. I just know I cannot wait until April 28th when we will get episode 6, the second episode of this series. And I hope Gundam.info puts it up again just as quick as they did this one. I hope they didn't just do it for the premiere, because that would be freaking awesome. I cannot wait to dive back in. This was an excellent return. I mean, the only thing about it is that it is kind of pressed for time with it only being 4 episodes. There's only so much they can go into. Things aren't as fleshed out as it should be, and things seem to be going at a very fast pace, and it seems like they have more than one storyline going. So it's kind of a pain point, but I'm pretty sure it'll work out in the end, because the first season was the same way and it turned out being phenomenal. In just 4 episodes, it ended up being one of the most favorite Gundams that I ended up watching. It's very enjoyable. The same thing is said for Gundam Thunderbolt episode 5 so far. So guys, let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and drop it a like, and if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as there's not a shortage of content for you to indulge on this channel. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me, and I really appreciate that. So thanks for stopping by. On that note, it's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.